What is up, YouTubers and lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to another video for 2020. Firstly, let me apologise for any wind noise you can hear. I'm going to try and buffet that out for you, but it's a really windy bloody day down here, right at the back end of September 2020. And something that I've wanted to get hold of for quite a while, as is often the case with me when I start thinking about reviewing cars for you guys and for myself, obviously, is a 1 Series BMW. Now, I actually wanted the saloon version, the more modern one, but there's never one that's around about my kind of price range. They all tend to be diesels. You know my feelings about diesels. I don't particularly like them. I can't really use one for my kind of work, so I don't particularly buy them. But oddly enough, guess what? This is a diesel. This is the 118, the 2-litre diesel M Sport edition of the 1 Series, the 2006, as you can see, with just 101,000 miles, which, as I'm sure you'll agree, is pretty low for a car that's getting on for 15 years old. Now, I bought this, if you've been watching the videos on the Seat Leon that I bought from an auction place, or a salvage place, kind of an insurance reclamation place, if that's even a word. You know what I'm talking about, basically. You go on to Cinetech or Copart, and you bid for cars on there, and I got that Seat Leon on there, which was crashed and needed a little bit of work. And then I spotted this a couple of weeks later. Now, I didn't really mention it, apart from on my Instagram account, that I'd bought this. God, this wind is bloody atrocious. I really do apologise if all you're getting is wind noise, guys. Now, I bought this a couple of weeks after I bought the Seat Leon, purely because it looks, as you can see down the sides, well, have a quick walk around it, it looks pretty bloody spotless. And then I'll tell you what's wrong with it, basically. Parking sensors, always very nice. Tinted rear glass, which I think somebody's actually done. Don't think that was factory, because it's pretty crap and it's starting to peel away already there. Aerial, as usual, completely buggered. I've got one of those shark fin aerials that I've used in the past on Seat Leons, a silver one. Just going to pop that straight on there. Don't believe all the stories that people say that you can't get a radio signal once you put one of those on. It's crap. I've never had a problem with that. Little scuff down here. Now, that's not the reason it's from an insurance salvage yard in that respect. We'll talk about that, as I said, in a moment. And where that's been scuffed there, it's obviously pulled out this little corner here, which is nothing that I'm really going to worry about. But as you can see, generally speaking, down the sides, at the back, everywhere, it's in pretty good bloody condition for a 15-year-old car that's done 100,000 miles. Nice big fat wheels on here, obviously being the M Sport edition. And now, why did I buy this? I bought it because it was category N for flood damage. Now, I thought to myself, well, if it starts and drives, which it did say it starts and drives, which is another little bone of contention we'll talk about in a minute. Let me see if I can get in the shade here a little bit. It did say starts and drives, 100,000 miles, flood damage, etc, etc. And I thought, well, if it starts and drives, that means that all the electrics are fine, surely. There was no lights on the dash, nothing like that. I thought, well, that's great. Let's give it a go. And I put in my bid, and believe it or not, I won this for, I think it was £940. £940 for a 118D M Sport with 100,000 miles on it. You've got to agree, that is shockingly good value for money. Now, delivered to my door with all the fees and all the rest of it, it came in at exactly £1,150. That does include delivery, as I said, and all the taxes and fees and all the rest of it, which I still think you've got to agree is an amazing price for 100,000 mile having M Sport 1 Series. In this kind of condition. I mean, there's no crash damage, that's the thing. I haven't washed it, by the way, so if it looks a bit grubby, I do apologise. I haven't had a chance to wash it. There are some stone chips in the paint down the front here. I think it's been up and down the motorway most of its life by the looks of things. There's nothing I can do about that. Well, there is. I could get it blown over, couldn't I, if I really wanted to, but I'm not keeping this because I don't like diesels. And I've got the Seat Leon at the moment, and if I'm honest, I prefer the Seat Leon. It's a really weird one because I find the Seat Leon far more refined than this. Maybe it's just me. But I've tried one. I've tried a 1 Series BMW, which has been on my bucket list for a very, very long time. Now, why is this a Cat N? Well, I think it's pretty obvious as soon as you open the door. When you start looking around inside here, you'll see these seats, very, very, very water damaged. But only there, not so much up on the backrests, as it were, here. There and there, there's a bit on the front seat there, nothing on the passenger seat, nothing on the bolsters or anything like that. It's a kind of it's a weird material, this. It's either an incredibly soft leather, or it's kind of a leatherette perhaps, or a vinyl. I'm not 100% sure. Now I've got some, this looks so much worse on camera than it does in real life. I've got some of this Simmons, I think it is, upholstery renovator cleaner kind of stuff. It's on its way, should be arriving today. It's Sunday, by the way. Should be arriving today. I'm going to give that a go on those panels there, because as I said, in the middle this is kind of a leatherette, so that'll just buff straight back up, and on this little bolstery bit here as well. So it's only this bit and that little kind of section there that I've got to be concerned about, rather. And as I said, on the front it's a similar story, in the respect that it's just there, and again it looks so much worse on camera. Nothing really up here, tiny bit on the passenger seat there. Now, as I said, this Simmons stuff that I've got coming in, and let me just get in the car a sec for you guys. This Simmons stuff that I've got coming in is like it's a foam on a brush, and you just brush it on and leave it 30 seconds and take it off. I'm hoping that's going to help. If not, it's probably going to cost me 50, 60 quid, I imagine, to take it to a detailer, valeter type guy, and have him actually vac this, you know, water vac it, steam vac it, whatever they're going to do there. It'll cost less than 100 quid anyway, and it should bring it all back. If it doesn't, I think the worst case scenario would be a new bench seat, and whatever you can do with the fronts, because if you start replacing seats, you're just going to lose any kind of profit that you might have had. But I'm sure it can be brought back together, you know. I'm not sure what these little, I mean, that could even be paint there, that little bit there, I don't know. But I'm going to try my best and do it myself, and if I can, great, and if I can't, I'll just spend less than 100 quid doing it at the valeters, as I said. Interior, very nice. It has that feature that I always like, and that is that the light comes on for the vanity mirrors there. Very stealthy in here, as I said before on I can't remember which car it was now, but the black headliner here, very good condition generally speaking for a headliner, but I like that whole kind of, it was the Mini, that's right. I like this whole kind of, like, it almost touches your head. Let me just whip that up. So it makes you feel cocooned inside the car, you know, like you're in something really sporty, which I do like. Let me just close this door, that's better. Nice, lovely, fat, chunky steering wheel. Love this steering wheel. It's really, really solid in your hand. A couple of things I don't like, typical BMW, it's peeling all up and around here, all around here. I was tempted to just literally peel it all off. I have looked at videos of how you can vinyl wrap these. I've done vinyl wrapping. I'm not too bad at it. I could do it, but I'm not going to, because I'm not going to keep the car, and I don't think it'll add value to the car. Unfortunately, the vents there are rather kind of faded as well. One thing I noticed straight away, no cup holders. How does an M Sport BMW like this, with all this niceness, 6-speed manual by the way, all this niceness, including the armrest, which has got a little cubby hole in there, and I believe it's got a little locks down there as well. How does this not have a cup holder anywhere? I mean, on the 3 Series, which is similar interior, you've got a couple here and here, haven't you? So where's the where's the cup holder? That keeps flipping up as well all day. Bloody annoying. By the way, if you're wondering what they are, they're silica bags, and they help with getting the damp out, because as I said, this car was flood damaged. Interior, going back to that, it's basic BMW. One other thing that I did notice, let's whip that on for a sec. The radio buttons don't disappear once you've had them on for like 30 minutes, because every other BMW I've ever owned, these little displays up here, they look fine at the beginning, then within half an hour, you can't read anything, which is great. They do work. This all works. Oh, I think you've got to, there we go, that should pop, yeah, that all works as well, so that's lovely jubbly. Yeah, you can stop. It keeps binging up little things on me here, because unfortunately the battery's screwed. We'll talk about that in a sec when I get back out. One other thing that really bloody annoys me about this car, and I just don't get I can't get my head around it. It's an M Sport, so it's top of the line, 1 Series, and it doesn't have electric windows in the rear. How, really? I mean, a manual window, as you can see, for the rear. Again, really? How do you make a car that was this expensive new, call it an M Sport, as in top of the range, and it's manual windows in the back? I don't get that. Very, very, very odd. Oh, let me just grab that out. Oh. As I said, it needs a bloody good clean, but we'll get there, you know. It doesn't have cruise control either, which I would have expected on this. Yeah, I mean, I've had it on little 1.2 Peugeot, so I'm surprised it doesn't have electric windows in the back, controlled by here as well, obviously. I'm surprised it doesn't have cruise control. There's a couple of things missing that I think it probably should have. Now, when this car arrived, the guy brought it on a trailer, obviously, from, I won't tell you where, but it was via Syntec. And he delivered the Seat Ibiza as well, so we were having a little chat. And he said, I've got the car running. I said, well, that's nice and quiet. He said, yeah, it wouldn't start, so we had to jump it. And I thought the battery might be flat, so I've left it running. So I know I shouldn't have done. And I thought, well, no, I'm sure legally you probably shouldn't have done. But he left it running, and I started it, the battery dropped it off, parked it up. Next morning came out, nothing. Dead as a dodo. So I'm thinking, okay, I went off and I bought one of those Syntec. Oh, yeah. A few Harley Davidsons just pootling on out the road there. I went and bought one of those Syntec battery chargers, 55 quid, the 5.0 I think it is, because that's what BMWs generally, and I've been meaning to buy one anyway. So I bought one of those. It went all through its cycle till the green light at the end. Started the car up, I thought, great, there you go. It was just a flat battery, nothing to worry about. Next morning, nothing. So it's obviously the battery, which, as you know, with these, the batteries aren't cheap and they have to be coded in, otherwise you end up getting shitloads of lights on the dashboard. So not overly impressed with that. I called them up and said, look, you says it starts and drives, and it doesn't start and it doesn't drive because the battery's gone. He said, no, when we say that, we mean that it doesn't matter if we roll it down the road and bump start, as long as it starts and it drives down the road after it starts, it's a start and drive, which I think is a little bit vague, really, in that respect. So watch out for that. I've been caught out with that. But generally speaking, I'm quite happy with the car. I've just been out for an hour in it now. I use that firm called Cover, which you can download onto your phone as an app and get one-day insurance. I mean, £9 for one-day insurance on this. That gives me now the opportunity to drive this around for 24 hours, pick up any little faults it might have, without taking out insurance per se, because you might find, well, okay, I do love it, I want to keep it, let's get some insurance. Or you might think, I hate this bloody car, I'm glad I didn't insure it. So keep that in mind. Thanks to the guys that mentioned that as well to me when I was talking about temporary insurance. The company's called Cover, CUVVA, I believe it is, and you can get a day's insurance for £9 or an hour's insurance for £8.30. So why wouldn't you get the day? Anyway, as I said, I've just been out on the road for about an hour now. It drives beautifully, this car. Really, really, really smooth. Incredibly quiet inside. At 80 miles an hour, you're doing 2,500 revs, and you could just do that all day long. But then comes in the cruise control kind of gripe that I had just now. If you wanted to take a 2-litre diesel on a long journey, you'd expect it to have cruise control, really. Anyway, I digress. It was really, really cathedral quiet inside and very, very comfortable. And also, while I remember, I did try to work out what these were for, and I did work it out while I was driving. That little electric button there is actually the bolster for this. For each side of you, kind of locks you in or loosens you up, which I thought was a lovely idea. So, they think about that, but they don't put cruise control or electric windows in the back. Go figure. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, very, very quiet on the motorway, very, very smooth, no wobbles, no kind of real issues. The only thing I found was in fourth gear, if you put your foot down, there's a tiny vibration, only in fourth gear. I got a feeling that's probably a bearing somewhere. I don't know, but it doesn't really affect the drive, as long as you don't put your foot down and you're racing everywhere. Talking of racing, this is 120 horsepower, I believe, and yeah, I guess it's quick enough. It's a big old girl. It's a 2-litre diesel. As I said, 120 horsepower. It's not going to break any speed records for sure. I think it's 9.5 seconds to 60. So it's not a quick car, but it doesn't hang about. It's. My Mini felt a lot quicker. All right, that was 175 horsepower, and it was a turbo. So, I love that car. I love my Minis. But it's not going to win any speed records, as I said. Not the diesel M Sport. 120 horsepower, 50 miles roughly to the gallon, which I guess is comparable with most other 2-litre diesels. Although, again, going back to the Peugeot I had. Try and get out of the wind for you here, guys. Going back to the little Peugeot I had, the 1.2, that did 50 miles to the gallon as well. So, yeah, it's these days. But then again, this is 15 years old. So, I guess 50 miles an hour, 50 miles to the gallon, rather, 15 years ago seemed amazing. What else can I tell you about this lovely looking car? Great tyres. On the MOT, I did check this out, and it said it needed new tyres. As you can see, front and back, I imagine they have been sorted. by a previous owner, because they almost look new to me, all these tyres. The MOT is until the end of June next year as well. That's another reason I bought it, because a lot of cars you buy from salvage, they may have been in and out of auction for quite a while, and they may have run out of MOT and that kind of stuff. So, you know, try to get the one with the MOT, I think, because that way you've got a chance to flip it if that's what you're into. That's what I'm going to do with this. I'm not going to keep it. 2 reasons. 1, I don't like diesels. 2, I don't need a diesel, and I don't have the room for it while I've got the Seat Leon. And I did buy it, as I said, just to have it, to review it for you guys, to see what I thought of it. I am going to get the 1 Series Saloon in petrol at some point and review that, because I think that will suit my needs better, quite frankly. It doesn't need to be an M Sport, you know, in that respect. But generally, what do I feel about the car? I'd like to have a go in a non-M Sport and see what the differences are. Obviously, the seats are different, the wheels are different, but I'm loath to agree that they should put an M Sport badge on this car, because M Sport kind of makes you think, oh, okay, this is going to be a really, really sporty car. It's going to shift down the road. It's going to be luxurious inside. It's going to have all the toys, and it kind of doesn't really. I mean, it's got front spots, and it's got it's got a kind of a chrome effect. Let's get in this passenger door. It's got a kind of a chrome effect down here, and that's not a bigger steering wheel. That's it's not an M Sport in my mind, because as I said, with me, if anything that says sport, I want to see extras with it. I want to see something a little bit more special than you'd get on a normal 1 Series of this age, apart from just bigger wheels, because you can get bigger wheels and put them on a normal 1 Series, can't you? Surely. But there you go. I mean, that's my feelings. You know, it's all obviously subjective. Now, we'll get in underneath, if we can, underneath here. Oh, I'll have a little look at this lump. It's a big old lump, mind you. And very clean as well. As you can see, the engine bay itself, incredibly clean. That's where I keep having to jump start the bloody car. But no rust issues that I can see down here. Nothing, no oil. I mean, I don't know if we can see down there, but generally speaking, these cars do suffer from oil leaks, as we know. All bloody BMWs do, even the newer ones. This one doesn't seem to have anything that I am that concerned about. I was going to give it an oil change, but the oil seems fine. The filter seems quite new, so, you know, obviously you don't get any service history. Let me close that up. You don't get any service history when you buy these cars from auction, so you take it as it is, you know. I'm going to sell this on, let somebody else deal with it, and as I said, in that respect, they can service it. There's a couple of service lights on. I can reset those. I'm not going to, because I'm an honest guy. I'll leave them on, you know, and let somebody else kind of see that it does need a service. I think one was oil, and the other one was... I can't remember now, to be honest, sorry. So where are we with this now? I mean, what are my general overthoughts? Lovely to drive on a motorway. I reckon you could sit in this for hours, quite frankly, especially with those seats, if you can get the lumbar support sorted to the way you like it. Yeah, I reckon you could sit on a motorway with this for hours, but it does need cruise control if you're going to do that, and I'm shocked that it doesn't have it. My 318 BMW, the 3 Series, which I'll put a link in up here somewhere when I reviewed that, that was a similar sort of thing. You could sit on the motorway driving that for hours, and I believe that did have cruise control, and that was a 2006 as well, just a 318 petrol. So being the M Sport, again, why doesn't it have cruise control? That had the little lights you get in the door handles as well, and it also had, as I said, it had cruise control. It had electric windows in the back as well, because it was a 4-door saloon rather. So why doesn't this is the M Sport, you'd expect more. Let's have a little look at the boot as well, while we're here, I guess. Oh. Quite a big boot. There's my starter pack, my jump pack, which I desperately need, and I'm hoping I don't need in a minute. And there's the battery, which is screwed, I'm imagining. Not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. I think I'm probably going to have to buy one, so that's an extra £100 that I didn't actually budget for, because they said it started and drove, which is a real pisser. It's got the parcel shelf, which is nice, and that's about it. Rear parking sensors as well, which I haven't actually heard go off yet, which is a bit concerning, but, you know, it is what it is. If they don't work, then somebody can replace them. As I said, I bought this to experience it, review it for you guys, tell you my thoughts on it, and basically £1,150 for a flood damaged 2006 BMW 118D M Sport, and we got this delivered to the door for 1,150 quid. And I don't think anybody can argue with that. It drives beautifully. The seats are grubby. I mean, if you really just wanted a quick run around, you could just put seat covers over that. No problem at all. 50 quid's worth of seat covers from eBay. You'd never see those stains. Or, as I said, you could spend under 100 quid and get them valeted and make the interior look beautiful again. And there you have it. You know, a beautiful looking BMW 1 Series M Sport for under 1,200 quid. Well, so if we said 1,250 to get it sorted, you know, give it a mini service, an oil and filter change, get the seat sorted, 1,250 quid out the door. It's got an MOT till June. What's not to love with that, you know? It's just I don't particularly like the car, personally. As I said, I want to try the saloon version in petrol, and I don't see why they call this an M Sport, apart from the fact it's got bigger wheels and a bigger steering wheel. Anyway, comment in the comments section if you would, guys, please. And if you enjoyed the video, you like this kind of stuff, consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up if you would. Watch out for another video in a couple of weeks, and thanks for watching. All right, guys, take care.